Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we have our honored guest, Jimemperor, and the other guy's Geboss, and it's me, Akainu Fanboy, and we are going to be doing our One Piece Top 30 for 2023. Thank you, Oda, for the Fire Egghead Island arc, because it's definitely mixed up the top 30 a little bit from last year, at least for me, a little bit. We'll see. But please like and subscribe if you have not. Thank you for listening for this great year of 2023. And we're for New Year's Eve, so let's knock out the top 30. So Jipper, you go first.
All right, so for my number 30, we have Jinbei, barely making it in.
That's impressive.
Okay. I know, the strongest feat beating Who's Who. And we're doing 3 at a time, correct?
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, and 29, I'm just gonna, because every character above this I think can beat them. Well, no, sorry, no, 29 is Magellan.
Okay.
Wow,
Magellan's
he's still making it.
Yeah.
Only villain Luffy hasn't beat yet. And then 28, I think everybody above them could probably beat them, like Extreme Diff or less. All of the Seraphim.
Okay.
Because I just assume they're all basically the same power level.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't have much to say right now because you can't really compare it to other stuff because I didn't. There's nothing yet. But yeah, I think I don't know. Jinbei could be argued. I think like Magellan is probably the one that's the most interesting. I don't know. I'm a Magellan believer. His Devil Fruit is insane. I don't like, even if you have strong hockey, if he just coats you in his poison, what are you gonna do? I think you're still dead.
Yeah. I mean, he literally like one-shot the entire Blackbeard crew.
He did, right? And sure, they weren't like as strong as they are now, but it's not like they were weak. I'm sure. What's his name? Van Auger, just, like, had hockey at that point. He was shooting birds from miles away and stuff. Like, they were not weak.
Yeah.
So Magellan, you know, I wish we're gonna get more of them, but honestly, I don't know if we're gonna get any more of them in the story.
I mean, Crocodile came back in the story, so Magellan could too.
Magellan is no crocodile.
In a good or bad way.
All right. No, I mean, everyone's coming back. Lucci, Crocodile, the whole gang's coming back together. All right. Should I go?
Yeah, you go next.
Okay, this is gonna be controversial, but I don't give a shit. Vasco shot.
Oh, okay.
He's still going. Shiryu of the raid.
Okay.
And Boa.
Okay.
So again, Vasco shot because I think he's gonna fight Sanji, so I consider him like the third strongest on Blackbeard's crew. And so that's just my headcanon there. Shiryu, first mate, and then Boa. I think the gap between Blackbeard and the rest of his crew is titanic, to use a pun, right? It's just like, honestly, their performance against Garp was ridiculously pathetic. You know, how much it took for them to take him down with Kuzan's help. It's not me talking down on Garp. It was just like absolutely pathetic. Like and then Vasco shot getting taken out by Boa. Shiryu just wasn't even that impressive at all. If you compare him to all the other first mates, what we've seen so far, it's like nothing. You know, like Sanji and just like a lot of other characters have shown way more impressive feats than Shiryu of the Rain at this point. So that's my first 3 right there.
Yeah, I will say, like, the only thing that he did really was he stabbed Garp, but that was literally because he was protecting Kobe. So
yeah, I think all the Blackbeard pirates. I mean, I think at least where we're going in the story right now, I don't think they're going to be super great power level wise. Their specialty is obviously, cheap tricks and thought out plans and stuff. Maybe minus Blackbeard. Blackbeard himself is going to be obviously really strong, but like, they didn't even. I'm going to spoil it now. None of the Blackbeard pirates made my list. I don't consider them. I don't consider them strong. They're just. I mean, they have good plans and they execute them well.
Yeah,
they could grow in power, but after that performance we saw, that was just pathetic. Like, I'm not gonna. Shiryu did not do anything remotely like Katakuri, King the Wildfire, Zoro, or Ben Beckman. Nothing anywhere near that shit, right? I think Queen showed more impressive feats than Shiryu of the Rain at this point in the story. Like, that's But you know, I'm still not gonna give him the status for first mate and all that stuff. But like that's just kind of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that they're impressive either. But yeah, am I all set to do mine?
Yeah, go.
Okay. I'm gonna do 29 and 28, and then I'll explain my number 30. So 29, I have Jinbei. And then 28, I have Hancock. And then
Okay.
30, I kind of equate this character. They so you know, like in Marineford, where like Luffy was using his Conqueror's Haki to knock out people, but he didn't have control over it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel about this character. They need to learn to control their power, and that's why number 30 is Kobe.
Oh,
Okay.
That's how I rationalize it. He has,
that's fair.
yeah,
That's fair.
the whole thing with Pizarro, like destroying the island with the honesty impact, that was amazing. But he needs to, once he learns to control it, he's jumping up like another 10 or 15 spots.
Once he learns to believe in himself.
Yeah. And then yeah, Jinbei, fourth strongest on the crew for the Straw Hats, and then Hancock is still powerful, but she hasn't really gotten a win. She got beat by Blackbeard, but it showed kind of how she did it in the anime, so it was kind of a cheap trick. So
Mm-hmm.
she was going after Kobe. So
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
All right, on to me.
Yep.
For 27, I've got Marco.
Okay.
Still making the list. 26, Katakuri.
Oh.
And 25, Kobe Nation.
Okay.
Okay. So I've got Kobe pretty high here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as you said, obviously he doesn't exactly know how to control it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's maybe less about that and more just like he didn't even think he had that type of power. He was just like, let me just close my eyes and hope it works.
Yeah.
I think he really is strong. I don't know if that was like a Conqueror's Haki attack or not. Probably not. Probably just some form of advanced armament.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much, I mean, there's not a lot of characters that are that powerful. Like I could honestly see, Katakuri or maybe Marco like do like a feat that powerful, but like that was just his first attack. Like maybe he's kind of like Deku in My Hero Academia, where he could do one of those things and then like he's out for the fight type of thing. But it for what we know now, I mean, if he could just throw those like haymakers, he's definitely very scary. So I think he earned 25 at least.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marco and Katakuri are probably some of the strongest first mates in the series. So yeah, this is where I'm throwing them on the list.
I'm kind of surprised Katakuri is that low on yours.
Yeah, after the cover pages with Caesar and Germa escaping, I was like, what are you doing, dude? I mean, I get he was hurt after the fight and all, but I don't know.
Yeah,
that probably put him, a few.
German's that strong, bro. German's that strong.
I guess so, dude. Yeah. Judge did something right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Should I jump in?
Sure.
Okay. So I have let's see here. Katakuri. And then Marco. And then Kobe.
No shot.
Basically.
I'm not joking.
Okay. Man, you're like selling your Katakuri stocks, aren't you?
Yeah, so I thought Jimper was going to roast me for putting him above Katakuri, but like, if Kobe did Honesty Impact against Katakuri, I don't think he'd survive that, to be honest. I don't think he'd be able to take it.
Well, he's got to hit him.
Really?
Katakuri has future sight.
That's true. Okay, but like, also the speed feats for Kobe was insane at the same time, So also, I think just the performance we saw with Garp too. with a lot of it. I thought was really impressive. I thought it was impressive how he didn't get turned in the stone from Boa, where you just had Blackbeard and him. I think there's a lot more we didn't see from him, and I think a lot of it was kind of more plot/theme for the arc where they needed to have Kobe struggle emotionally, kind of thing, and he's obviously just saving that moment for the end, kind of thing, I think and also just the growth and the power rate has been nuts and crazy. So I think a lot of it was just saving it. His attack for the end of that point was just for presentation sake, really, and hype, not really like that's indicative of how inexperienced he is as a fighter per se. I guess that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Okay.
And I also think he's like Luffy, where he could struggle a lot in a fight, but then come out on top in the end.
Mm-hmm.
But also that attack, I think very few characters are walking away from it.
Mm-hmm.
If he were to do it, so that's just kind of where I'm at with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Spoiler alert: Marco barely didn't make my list. He's number 31.
Salute.
What under Jinbei?
That's wild.
Like
dude,
Marco has regenerative feats, but besides that, I find his offense lacking. So
yeah, that's probably true.
That's my.
I'm just saying, I can't see Jinbei tasseling with King and Queen for that long.
That's also true.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say
I think Jinbei would be sushi.
That's gotta be racist against fishermen.
Let's be real.
Yeah. Anyway, my number 27 is the Seraphim.
Okay.
Yeah, they have good defense and everything with the whole Lunarian thing, and I see that Akainu Fanboy doesn't have them on there yet.
It was just too hard for me to, spoiler, that I didn't put them on. It was just too hard for me to kind of think of them individually, and I just don't know. We don't even see how they got contained in this past arc too,
Yeah.
I think it's just because Oda's saving them, plot-wise, but...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just hard for me to put them on, yeah.
And then I have 26 is Sanji. And 25 is Kid. So...
No, Kid.
Ooh.
So, Kid, like, with Shanks' future sight, he saw that Kid was going to wipe out that whole fleet if he didn't stop him.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in terms of that, he took, like, a bunch of damage from Big Mom. But I would see Sanji having a hard time beating him. But everyone else I can see beating him more than, like, Sanji would. And I put Sanji above the Seraphim because Sanji literally tanked a hit from S Shark.
Yeah.
But couldn't Kid just take Zoro's swords?
I mean, he has the no
I'm
sword
not even being ironic. I'm not being ironic.
I think Zoro's got some strong grip strength, especially
Yeah.
in the mouth department. I don't think he would be able to take it.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. But yeah. Kid, I don't know if he's even going to be back in the story. I think he is, but who knows?
He didn't make my list.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm considering him out of the story until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
Under Jinbei. Kid's under Jinbei.
Well, he's under the ocean floor, so this is where he is right now.
Yeah, you're talking about Jinbei's feats versus
Jinbei defeated
Marco. Yeah.
And Kid took down a Yonko.
Kid's dead. All right.
Yeah.
Well, didn't make my list either.
Yeah. The way that I did my list, I included the people who are like still active in the story at this point. So
okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. I'll just get right into 24. We've got Sanji.
Okay.
And right above him, to no one's surprise, is Zoro.
Okay.
And above that is Ben Beckman. Still, I think probably the strongest first mate. I mean, obviously we haven't seen much, but right above Zoro, I'd say still. I think Zoro has yet to be strongest first mate in the series so far. But yeah, I mean, Zoro right above Sanji. That's just the portrayal. But it always does. It's either equal or Zoro very, very slightly above. So I don't think there's he always fights the second in command. Sanji, I think Sanji did have a lot easier of a time against Queen, to be fair. But I also think Queen is a lot weaker than King. So yeah. So I mean, just portrayal wise, yeah, Zoro's definitely right above Sanji. And then as far as the Beckman thing goes, I don't think I can call Zoro the strongest first mate just yet until we see Shanks' whole crew. So
that's fair.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised Beckman's this low, though.
Yeah, I mean, again, another character we really haven't seen anything from.
That's true.
Okay. So for me, Sanji.
Okay.
Zoro.
And Beckman. Right?
What? Oh, no. Savo.
Okay.
Oh.
So basically, yeah, all the same reasoning Jimper gave for the placement of Sanji and Zoro, right? Sabo, we haven't seen much, to be honest. The only hype he's gotten is he has Flamerper by his name. And I think that's kind of more of like a political narrative thing, like he's causing uprisings. We've seen like basically nothing in terms of a good feat from him, really.
I mean,
I mean, he escaped the 5 elders and Emu while carrying King Cobra. I think that's a pretty insane feat.
But he still got pretty messed up in the process, though. It
but
wasn't
he survived.
Okay, I get it. I get it. But like in terms of like, okay, someone can get away from someone, but that doesn't mean your power level is like broken.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like,
I will say in the same span of chapters, Wapol got away from them with Vivi. So,
well, they didn't know he was there, right?
Like, I mean, that's fair. Okay, Wapol. Put Wapol over Sabo, please. But
he didn't get injured.
Yeah, so
I forget though. Sorry, they didn't know he was there though. Wapol, he just kind of spied on them.
I think
but he can like negate his presence though. He can like shield off his
he's
presence.
the observation hockey killer.
Oh wait, right, not Mihawk. Shanks, whatever the hell.
But I will say the Sanji, Zoro, Sabo, and I would say for the next person, they're basically almost entirely equal. Like all of them are like that. That's how I would see it too. Like I think honestly, I could see Zoro beating Sabo too. I think I don't know. Maybe I should put Sabo a little lower, but I don't know. I guess I have to give some respect to the revolutionaries, even though I don't want to. I don't know. Yeah, okay. We'll just leave it there before I get more negative on them, and then Sabo goes below Sanji and Zoro. So yeah, just continue with yours, Curry, before I change my list.
Okay. Okay. My number 24 is Zoro. My number 23 is Crocodile.
Wow, really?
Jeez.
My number 22 is Sengoku.
All right.
Okay, put respect on the old man. That's
good. You convinced me throughout the year that if Sengoku's anything compared to like what Garp is, like right now, then he deserves to be at least here.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm always on the Crocodile stocks because we haven't.
And Sengoku's devil. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I was gonna say we haven't seen anything from him like post time skip, but I can assume he got stronger since he's chilling in the new world right now.
Yeah. Bounty scaling, he's really strong.
True. But yeah, you were gonna say something about Sengoku's devil fruit.
Oh no, I'm just saying it's a busted devil fruit too. It's very powerful.
All right, and getting into 21, we got Rob Lucci.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, Awakened Devil Fruit, insane. But yeah, let's go 20. Boa Hancock, I think, is very strong. Just no diff to Blackbeard's entire crew, basically.
Stronger than Beckman?
Yeah, I'm a believer. 19. We have Crocodile.
Oh,
Yep.
Stronger than Beckman.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Again,
Wow.
Crocodile, at least portrayal wise, is I don't know. I'm not gonna say they're trying to compare him to Mihawk. Obviously, I think Mihawk's definitely stronger, but it's kind of buggy, and then those two right under him. So
Yeah.
I mean, Oda's definitely trying to push Crocodile as like this new really strong fighter.
Mhm.
So I think for Cross Guild to be not a joke at all, and not just be Mihawk and friends. I think Crocodile at least has to be this strong, at least plot wise. So
Mhm.
I'm a believer in Crocodile right now as well. Boa again, Boa's Devil Fruit is just way too strong. You have to have some insane hockey, I think, to combat it.
Mhm.
So I think everybody under this would have a rough time doing it. And Lucci, again, Awakened Devil Fruit. I mean, he kind of sparred with Luffy. Obviously, Luffy was kind of playing with him, but he wasn't his strongest form. And Luffy is, he's an emperor now. So I think Lucci has enough feats, at least at this point, to warrant that. But yeah, again, Beckman no feats, so don't give me flack there, guys.
He's,
Alright,
he
that's-
scared
that's fine.
Kizaru.
Oh,
He took out all-
Ben Beckman.
He
Then
took out
he
all
went-
those mountain bandits.
True.
Can I make one quick edit to my list towards the bottom real quick? If that's fine.
Sure.
Okay. No more Vasco shot. Put Shiryu there, and then put Crocodile for 29. Crocodile was on my list, but you guys convinced me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But only at 29.
Yeah, just because like his Logia ability. Okay, we just saw like when Luffy kind of like got through it, like how easily he kind of got taken down after that. I mean, not easily, but like he lost to an Alabasta Luffy, and I think his high bounty could explain just by his criminal connections and organization. So I just have to see more, right? But I do agree, like his portrayal has been strong. And like if I've seen Lucci make those power gains, I can see Crocodile at similar gains. I just haven't seen enough yet for him to be that high, I guess, if that makes sense, But I think it's definitely possible.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so for me now is let's see. Okay, so Lucci.
Did you? Are you just
And
copying
then
me?
no. Lucky Roo. And then Kong.
You on this Kong agenda.
Bro. Admirals, okay? Admirals are strong.
Oh,
okay?
God.
Admirals are strong, bro. The guy just looks like a beast. Okay, like everyone's like, oh, the Gorosei, bro, they're gonna be powerful. Just look at how they look, right?
Yeah.
Same logic with Kong, right? Who is like actually like a fighter and an admiral. We see how strong the admirals are and everything like that. So that's kind of where I'm at with him. Lucky Roo, like I'm even though he's like a third in command, I'm always gonna put him stronger. Like just Shanks's people I'm always gonna put him above everybody else. Lucci, I think if Lucci can spar with Gear Fifth Luffy and the Seraphim, I think those are really good feats, and just like his ability to just keep on regaining strength after fighting Gear Fifth Luffy, and now he's fighting Seraphim, and he's still not getting KO'd or anything, and now he's fighting Zoro on top of it. I think those are all really impressive feats right there. So that's just kind of where I'm putting him. Sabo just hasn't shown anything, but Lucci has been showing it a lot this arc. So that's kind of how I justify it right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think the 21 spot belongs to Lucci for everyone because I'm putting him there.
Wow.
Let's go. Lucci stocks went up, bro. They went up.
Number 20 is Sabo. And number 19 based solely on this last chapter, because I saw consciousness is Kuma.
No shot.
Only
Kuma
because
over Sen Goku.
yes, he can literally just push Sengoku away.
Okay, until he touches him.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, you've seen how fast he can move.
the Sen Goku has a goat, bro, and a monkey. You have to realize, like, that's swag right there.
True.
Oh, I didn't factor in the swag points. You're right.
Yeah, the drip.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair though, Kuma is a shell of his former self.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
it. Like he was shown to be able to use hockey in the newest chapter,
Yeah.
but I mean, and this punch does look like it's going to do considerable damage to a Gorosei.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable ranking him until we like. He's definitely not completely dead, like completely robot. He has some consciousness left, but I've got to see him actually land the punch first. So
That's true.
at least that's for me.
Yeah. But I will say he did tank a couple of Akainu blows. So
True.
there's that too.
He took one hit, and he's. Let's be real. That's probably going to end up being what's killing him more than whatever the Gorosei does to him. I'm just saying.
I mean,
you know.
Kuma's not going to make it to next year because he's
Yeah.
probably going to die. This is the one chance that he gets to be on the top 30.
True. He also took a spider leg to the back.
Yeah.
With ease.
Yeah.
I can see it for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, Prime Kuma, I feel would be even higher. But
yeah, 100%.
But yeah.
Okay then. Number 18, we've got Trafalgar the Waterlaw.
Okay.
At number 17, we have Sabo. Is that the highest out of everybody? I think it is.
Yeah.
I'm a believer. And at number 16, respect on the old man, we've got Sengoku.
Okay.
Same reasoning for Sengoku. If he was comparable to Garp, kind of like Roger Whitebeard situation, I mean, he's definitely not as strong as Garp. I don't think anybody's arguing that. But he's definitely up there. He's retired now and he doesn't fight anymore, but he's definitely still got it in him if he had to. Sabo, another character, just portrayal-wise, you know, the whole Flame Emperor thing and just this, you know, the whole plan going into Marijo and escaping the 5 elders and Emu while holding King Cobra. Yeah, pretty insane. Not a lot of characters could do that. Obviously, we haven't seen him directly fight one-on-one just yet. But just portrayal-wise, and I think where he needs to be. Because in my headcanon, I think he's going to be the one to fight Akainu in the final war. So I think he needs to at least be here and probably get a little bit stronger. And then Law, the stronger of the two that fought Big Mom, you know, he did all the work. Kid just kind of, you know, he took aggro, and then Law did the damage. But his Devil Fruit is just way too insane. And the fight against Blackbeard, he was doing very well for basically almost being a one-man crew. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't end well, but, you know, very strong character. His hockey's strong enough to just dispel Devil Fruits like we saw in the fight with Blackbeard as well. So, definitely a pretty strong character. I think this is a good spot for him.
Okay. I have no objections.
Same.
Okay.
Alrighty. So Kid, Law, and Ben Beckman.
So you're a Kid believer. I'm surprised you of all people put Kid up this high.
Look, I think, you know, how a 2v1 against a fresh Yonko is impressive. And that's it, really. Even though Oda hasn't really been developing as much, he has been shown to have proximate portrayal with Luffy in a lot of ways, you know, like when they're stuck in Udon prison and all that kind of stuff, you know. But, and like you said, his cannon attack that Shanks stopped would have been like insanely devastating, you know. And I think Shanks is one of the few people that can stop that attack before it happens. But if he gets that attack off, I think it's very devastating and everything like that. And also, I think he's a really experienced fighter at this point too in the story. So then, but yeah, I think Law's better, as Chipper explained. Just I think more superior feats, and then Beckman. I think Beckman's just. Well, obviously, I think Shanks is incredibly powerful, and Beckman is right hand man. So I just put Beckman right there.
Okay.
Valid. Yeah. Only reason I didn't put Kid on my list, it's because I forgot because he's so forgettable. But I'm gonna say it's because I'm assuming him dead.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, there's a certain character that's not on my list that might raise some eyebrows.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of for the same reason. But 18, I got Law. 17, I have Katakuri.
Wow.
16, I got Yamato.
Oh my gosh.
That's low for Yamato too.
Yamato was sparring with Kaido. Like, she didn't even take that much damage. She has advanced Conqueror's coding. Like, I was debating on whether or not, like, she was stronger than Katakuri, which she is, because Katakuri has, like, he has Future Sight. He has his really good Devil Fruit. But he doesn't have that Conqueror's coding, which put Yamato above.
Okay.
But yeah,
level.
I will say his cover story, his feats were not the best, but yeah, I'm still a believer in the. I'm a member of the Church of Katakuri. I go occasionally.
I support that.
Yeah. But yeah, and then Law. Yeah, it's weird because Law is like his powers are busted, and that's really the main reason that he's up this high. But yeah, that's it.
I think Law would annihilate Katakuri, but that's just me. I think
annihilate is a strong word, but I think he'd probably win.
They're next to each other.
I just think Law's. I think I get it. He has Katakuri's future side, but Law's power is just so broken. And Law's fortitude has been increasing ever since that fight with Big Mom. It's very impressive at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry. All right, go.
Yeah. Well, I kind of see Katakuri and Yamato as the next like Big Mom and Kaido, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 15. We've got another old man, Rayleigh.
Okay.
And number 14, we've got Fujitora. And number 13, we've got Green Bull.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay.
So Rayleigh was kind of just, I put him basically the same level as Sengoku. I think they're, two kind of seconds to the first type of thing. But two still very, very strong old guys. I think Rayleigh stated after he pulled up on the Blackbeard Pirates that he probably would have lost if they actually ended up fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So just for that, yeah, he's definitely, declined in strength. I think the only like real 100% feat we've seen now is just when he fought with Kizaru, but that fight never concluded. Then we've got Fujitora and Green Bull. So these two, I could kind of go either way. They fought with each other on Mary Jo. And I think Fujitora, if, story-wise, he's going to be on the good side in the Final Wars. I think it would just be a little bit, if he was stronger than this, it would just be a bit too much. I think, and the Green Bull has to be at least at that level. He was fighting with all of the 9 scabbards very easily. He kind of beat all of them. And then Yamato came, hit him, and he just said, ouch. Like, that was a I assume that was like a Conqueror's hockey coated, like, he's very, at least, durable. That was a pretty crazy feat. And if you, obviously, the Shanks thing that scared him, I mean, that did make him not look the best, but obviously, if the entire if Shanks' whole crew pulls up on you and you've got someone with Conqueror's Cody in front of you, I'd probably run too. So definitely, yeah, probably one of the strongest admirals for sure. But I don't think he doesn't crack the first three.
I will say a little defense to bring Green Bull right here is like when Blackbeard got scared off by Akainu, people still didn't really like talk shit on his power level, you know.
Right.
But when Green Bull does it, he's like the most ass thing that's ever happened, you know. So
Yeah.
I do want to just point out that in fairness to Green Bull right there. All right, me.
Yep.
Okay. So after Beckman, we have Rayleigh.
Okay.
Sengoku. And Garp.
Okay.
Yeah, just basically old man. Yeah, old man trio. And
that's
I think
disrespectful to Garp.
It is. Basically, I'm looking at everybody above my list, and I basically just think youth is really the only thing that's doing it at that point. You know. Well, I mean, I think Garb's doing pretty good. Like, look at all the people below him on my list. I think that's a pretty impressive. Yeah. I think that's a lot of you taking down all the first mates basically, you know. So
yeah,
that's basically it. I think Garb's power level is just phenomenal at that point. You know, it was just to think what he's like in his prime is terrifying. And I think like that puts Kobe stocks really high up for the near future too. So that's just kind of where I have it right there.
That's fair.
Bella.
Okay. So for my number 15, I got Green Bull. Pretty much for the same reasons. I put him above Yamato because, like you said, like he was taking on the Scabbards and Yamato and Momonosuke without like really breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
Number 14, I have Rayleigh. Number 13, this was a character that I had gotten introduced. I think it was this year. And that's going to be Garling.
Oh yeah. There's too many characters now, bro. Like it wouldn't take, bro. It's hard now.
Yeah. Forgot that one. Whoops.
we can do mulligans at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Garling just being we don't really know that much about the God's Knights, or that's what they're called, right? But him being the leader and seeing him in the flashback at God's Valley, I assume that he's very strong. Like he's going to be one of the main contenders at the during the final war, I feel.
Yeah, 100%.
I put him a little bit lower because like I kind of equate him to Rayleigh, like maybe age has gotten to him to some degree, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely one that I probably would have included if I thought to, but
yeah.
Number 12
characters.
Way too many. 12 we got Yamato.
Okay.
11 Kizaru and 10 Kuzan.
Okay.
So
what?
Listen, okay, Yamato, I rate Advanced Conquerors Hockey very high, but I think Yamato just isn't there with the other Advanced Conquerors users. Probably the weakest. I mean, been on Wano their whole life, so definitely not. I mean, like sparred with Kaido, but not Kaido level. I don't know. Yamato's kind of in a weird spot. I mean, she's definitely very, very strong, but definitely hard to place. I think just the Advanced Conquerors is the only thing that makes me put her up this high. And then as far as Kizaru and Aokiji go, I still think, Kuzan's definitely stronger still. I do think he was not putting forth his best effort against Garp. Garp definitely made him look kind of silly, but yeah, that's your mentor your whole life. You can't really, and you're on the wrong side. I still don't know what he's up to, But I do know he's definitely still very strong. He iced out the entire Blackbeard crew, it seemed, very easily. And he was down to fight Blackbeard if he wanted to, and Blackbeard very wisely did not engage in that battle. But yeah, very strong. As far as Kizaru goes, some may say, you know, he's too low. He was fighting with Gearfed Luffy, yada yada yada. But hey, at the end of the day, he has like no willpower. He can't. He's a cog in a machine against these people that have ambitions and all this stuff. In the series of One Piece, there's no way someone like that can be stronger than you and win in a fight. So that is why he's here.
Okay. Yeah, because we haven't even really seen like Kizaru use any hockey or anything compared to
No,
Aokiji.
we really haven't. Yep.
Why is Green Bull under Yamato? When you just said Yamato hit Green Bull and he said ouch.
Listen, they did not have an extended fight, okay? I don't know how the fight would go, but all I know is Green Bull does not have advanced conquerors, so that's where he's going to sit.
Okay. Right. Momo has an admiral, basically, on in his kingdom. So, all right. My turn. Are you still good? Okay. This is gonna cause scandal, but I don't care. Green Bull,
Okay.
Fujitora, Saturn.
Okay.
Wow, that's low.
Okay, so Saturn's okay, how should I start this up? Okay, wait, no. So Green Bull, yeah, I think after the anime thing with Queen and King, it was like less impressive. So I'm just gonna take that, to downplay one of the few good feats he had. He did take out Weevil, and he did, deal with the scabbards and everything, but I think Fuji hasn't taken one hit in the story really. And his power is pretty broken and busted. And just Admiral, all that kind. So I'm just gonna give Fuji. I just think his power is more impressive. With Saturn, I think his introduction was just kind of like, very powerful because I think it was kind of more to show narratively like this is how evil they are and everything. But this is how I kind of justify it. Really, is like, let's say Sabo was running out of the room with Emu and everything with the Gorosei. Replace the Gorosei with the 5 admirals. Do you think Sabo is getting out?
I don't know. Kuma kind of got past Akainu with relative ease.
Teleport power. Teleport power, bro. Come on. So, like, you see what I mean? Like, if you had Kuzan, Kizaru, Green Bull, Fujitora, and Akainu going after Sabo in that small chamber with no celestial dragons around, do you think Sabo is getting out? I don't think he is. Whether like Kuzan freezes him, and then or Kizaru just like does a speed attack. I just that's just how I picture it in my head, basically. I will say like he is like a Gorosei, and his portrayal for his introduction was still good, and that's why I put him slightly above the other 2 admirals because we haven't seen any from Fujitora and Green Bull yet. That's really impressive, but I just can't see like 5 admirals letting Sabo out of the room. Also, his little like attack that he did to try to kill Bonnie, Kuma seems to just tank that. I don't think Kuma would like do as well tanking. Well, I mean, look, we saw like the attack Akainu give Kuma, and I think that one did quite a bit more damage. And that's just kind of how. I get it. Saturn's attack seems like a little powerful with keeping Sanji frozen and stuff, but we've seen a lot of abilities that seem pretty hacks, but as soon as you figure them out, it's not as impressive, So I just really haven't even seen that much from him, to be honest.
That's fair.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So number 12 is Fujitora. Number 11 is Kizaru. And number 10 is I put them together kind of like collectively, because I feel like they're all kind of the same level, is the red hair pirates. All like Yasop, Rue, Beckman, they're all pretty much this level.
That's man.
Wow, that's
wild.
high.
That's wild, bro.
I believe so.
Shanks has multiple admirals on this crew.
I mean, you saw they scared off the entirety of Marineford, of like
After an extensive war.
Yeah,
it's true, but like the admirals weren't even that, like Aokiji and Kizaru weren't that hurt. They didn't want to mess with them.
Well, that's because Sengoku got out of the way. They showed like no semblance of fear. Okay, you could say Akainu, but like to be fair to Akainu, he just fought Whitebeard for like that whole time, you know? Like
so I kind of see it like all these I equate to like the Straw Hat Pirates, in terms of like these are the strongest people on Luffy in Shanks's like fleet or whatever he has. So I don't know. I just feel like they're much stronger than you're giving them credit for. Especially them reigning over like the New World and stuff, like with Elbaf and everything.
yeah. I mean, I could definitely see myself of undervalued the whole crew because I think that is Shanks's specialty. Is his whole like he has a very small crew, but each of them individually are very strong. So
exactly.
yeah, sorry, go.
It's not like Kaido's crew or Big Mom's where they have like big fleets. Like we saw in Elbaf all the crews that Shanks is basically protecting because they're weak, and he's just relying on his main crew, basically. So
yep.
Yeah, I think the way you view the Red Hair Pirates is how I would view the Roger Pirates, and eventually I will see Luffy's pirate crew too, where he has multiple admiral level characters. And that's just kind of how I see it, at least. Like I think especially just like, and not especially, but just like when the only comparison we really have is with Ben Beckman putting the gun on Kizaru, but then Kizaru attacks the sub as soon as he like immediately, like in the next couple panels, you know. So yeah, that's just kind of where I would say about that whole thing. I kind of think would be way broken for the balance of power for Shanks to have multiple admiral level characters on his crew.
Yeah, that's true. But all right, let's just get right in number 9 here. We've got the GOAT, Garp. At 8, we've got Mihawk. And at 7, we have Akainu. So Garp over Aokiji, I do believe, he wasn't exactly trying his best. The fact is, he was fighting Blackbeard's whole crew at once, and speed blitzing people, and galaxy impact, destroying islands with one punch. This guy is insanely strong. Not to pull my boat or whatever, but I think I did have him the highest on last year's top 30, but definitely up there, the strongest old man that's alive at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Galaxy Impact as an attack is just one of it's like a nuke on his fist. And the speed feats he's shown going right past Kuzan, even if Kuzan wasn't trying, I think he was not ready for that. He's again, just brought back by old age, was extremely comparable to Roger back in his day. So this is basically a modern day Roger. I get he's not Roger himself, but he's very comparable. Mihawk, a character carried by title alone. But at the end of the day, if you're going to be one of Zoro's final opponents, you do have to be this high on the list. I don't think he's stronger than Shanks, the whole sword versus hockey argument, blah blah blah. If Shanks turns off his hockey, Mihawk would win. Whatever that argument is about. I still don't think he's stronger than Shanks, even if Shanks does use a sword. But and as far as Akainu goes, this might be a little low for him, but everybody above him, I truly do think is just stronger and is going to have fights that are later in the series, which kind of shows you that you're stronger, at least as far as like Luffy's opponents go. So,
Mhm.
All
because
right.
I do not think Akainu is actually going to fight Luffy. I think he's going to fight Sabo. That is what I believe.
That's an interesting theory, but I think it would make sense. With
Yeah, I think there're just too many opponents in the final fights for like Luffy can't fight Akainu and then jump to a Gorosei and then jump to Imu or whatever's and then yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but
yeah.
it just makes sense to me.
Mhm. Okay.
All right. Alrighty. Let's see. So for 9, I'm putting Luffy.
Okay.
Okay. And then for 8, I'm putting Dragon. That's like the hardest placement there. I didn't want to put him in the top 10, but I'm putting him there.
The bug.
7, Mihawk.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Luffy would mess up Saturn. And I think him. Like, okay, so I'm not trying to talk too much shit on Fuji and Green Bull, but we just haven't seen enough, you know? And so obviously you can infer what some of them are going to be above. I think Oda's going to make it really, really apparent in the story when Luffy's Admiral level and he defeats an Admiral. And that hasn't happened yet. So, because it's kind of like it was a milestone when he took down Warlords of the Sea, you know? It was even like a milestone when he took down Lucci and all this stuff. So I think like when he gets to that point in the story, Oda's gonna like really make it a big deal to hit that threshold, you know. Especially since he struggled with Admiral so much throughout the story, it's gonna be like a narrative explicit point. It's not gonna be something we can kind of approximate, if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, real quick. So to clarify, this means you have admirals over Kaido.
Admirals over Kaido. Well, it was not a 1v1 with Kaido at all.
No, so you are of that belief that if they fought, fresh after Luffy got all power ups, Kaido wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that too.
Yeah, like if you just saw the sheer amount of damage that Kaido took throughout, over and over and over again, I just like, and especially we see Gear 5 with the timeout with Kizaru right now. I don't think Luffy would be able to make it for that long period of a fight, but Kaido did. Kaido didn't have one breath, he just kept on going, and while carrying Onigashima simultaneously, you know,
Yep.
like. I don't think Luffy's at that level, especially like with his timeout thing. I think that really puts him down in terms of power a bit for the higher tiers. Like that's a real difficulty that he hasn't been able to get over yet.
Yeah.
And I know we don't really know the time elapse thing, but he did kind of like time out after he fought Lucci. So we're just not sure what the quantitative thing is there. And with Kizaru, it wasn't that long that he timed out, you know? And I think with Kaido, that's like a death sentence because Kaido can just go on for basically ever, as we saw with Onigashima and everything. And then Dragon, like, it pains me to put him there, but just by virtue that he has like a powerful son and a powerful dad, that's the only reason why I'm putting him there. Like the revolutionaries are straight ass, with the exception of Kuma, So that's just kind of where I'm putting him. I think Mihawk is clearly stronger than Dragon because we've just seen amazing feats from Mihawk and everything. So, and I think with the cross guild thing, you're basically putting him at Yonko level. Maybe you could say a little less because Crocodile was there too to push him into the Yonko level area, But I think like Mihawk is definitely like way up there for sure.
Didn't he specifically say like I don't want to be a Yonko?
Yeah,
Like he could have been given
yeah.
like he passed it on to Buggy basically because like him being the
But
fall guy.
yeah, Crocodile did help though with like making them to that status though. Like it was all three of them considered as a pair, as a trio. So, so that's basically where my list is right there.
Okay. So my number 9 is Luffy. Number 8 is Dragon. And number 7 is Aokiji. I put Luffy over Kizaru because Kizaru literally took that one hit and he's still kind of reeling from it. From Luffy. So
Yeah, some say he was pretending, but no, I do think he did see stars, at least for a bit.
yeah. And then Dragon, I kind of picture Dragon. We don't know what he was in the Navy. He was in it though. I kind of, my headcanon is that he was an admiral at one point, or at least that level.
Mhm.
And maybe that's the reason like he got so like disillusioned with everything, because he was directly reporting to the Gorosei.
Right.
And then Aokiji, just because he's strong. Like versus Garp, he was basically going toe to toe.
Yeah, they did have like a fist clash and all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Let's go number 6. We have Dragon. Dragon at 6. Number 5, we have Blackbeard. And number 4, we have Saturn, and by extension, the Gorosei, because I assume they're kind of all the same power level.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as Dragon goes, I think I had him way higher last year, but he just hasn't done anything. And also, there's been a couple of characters I think we added here that kind of moved him down a few spots. But if you're running the Revolutionary Army and you are considered the most wanted man in the world, I really do hope you're this strong. If not, as Akainu Fanboy was saying, yeah, the revolutionaries are a joke. If that is the case, and he is not this powerful. But yeah, he hasn't done anything, unfortunately. But I do think that is purely for plot's sake. Oda does not want to show his hand yet. So I think that that's the other reason Dragon gets a bad rap. But Blackbeard, Luffy's probably second to last opponent in the series. Yeah, he's gonna get another power up for sure. But even at this point, I think he's just his sheer power alone. He's definitely up there. He has two of the strongest devil fruits in the entire series, and I think the only thing holding him back is he just looks stupid sometimes. He always gets injured, but hey, so does Luffy, right? And he's kind of supposed to be the flip side of Luffy, which is
That's
why
fair.
I think he is this strong. The ones who basically kind of throw their dreams on the table and like he's doing are the ones who are going to be the strongest. So he's definitely up here. And then as far as Saturn goes, whatever's going on with holding everybody down by looking at them, Sanji's like eye level or whatever people are saying, is insane. Like, I don't think we've seen that from even the strongest hockey users yet. And I'm assuming this is hockey. But if it's not, I would not be surprised. But yeah, I think the Gorosei are being portrayed to be, very, very strong fighters. And I'm assuming they're going to be like Sanji, Zoro's, like they're like the big hitters' opponents, while Luffy fights Emu in the final war. So I think they are at least at this power level.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree that they're definitely strong.
Yeah, no, they really do have to be.
All right. Kizaru,
Okay.
Blackbeard, and Emu.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait,
So I'll
wait.
explain.
Where's Kuzan? Wait.
I'll explain.
Oh my
I haven't even
gosh.
seen Kuzan yet. What is going?
I'll explain. Okay, so Kizaru, with the whole Luffy scenario, I do agree he was dazed and he was knocked out. Okay, so I would have put Luffy above Kizaru if it wasn't for the last chapter and also my point with like Oda's gonna make it clear and apparent when Luffy Luffy goes over that hurdle of admiral level, basically.
Mhm.
And that hasn't been established narratively in the story yet. So that wasn't just like any random, no tier hit. It was like a pretty powerful attack from Luffy, but also Kizaru seems to be back already, and we don't see like extensive wounds on him from that attack either.
Mhm.
And so there's that aspect there while Luffy's still out and he's requiring food to get back into the fight. So, and I guess you could say the plot is kind of really messing up this fight in a lot of ways, because technically Kizaru can just walk over and finish Luffy right now, but he's
That's
choosing
damn
not
plot.
to. Well, but also, I think there's like kind of this. And if it's true right now that Kizaru is the one getting him food, he can't be in that much bad shape right now.
Mhm.
From that hit, basically. Again, while Luffy's timeout is a very real thing,
Mhm.
and that's something that can't be ignored either. And also, Luffy was having a hard time with Kizaru for the first part of their fight. You know, and I am not convinced at all that Kizaru's gone like completely all out. Like I almost positive that he has like an awakening and everything too, that we haven't seen yet. Like if Kizaru's not even bleeding at all, then I get it. He was dazed and everything, but he's not even bleeding. He's not even roughed up at all right now. So I'm not saying like the attack didn't do anything, but there are no significant wounds. He looks exactly the same as he did right before the punch. So I can't say like just off that one punch, Luffy's stronger than Kizaru. Especially when Kizaru might be feeding him right now. Right after that punch.
Mhm.
So, and then Blackbeard, I think Blackbeard is just busted with his powers. And I think he could take down Kizaru just with that combo. With Emu, yeah, Uemu is very, very powerful and could very well be the final villain. I'm just not convinced that Emu is going to be the final villain yet in my head. I still have a couple reservations. So one reservation I'm going to have right here is that going back to the whole thing where Sabo was able to escape. Like when you're the strongest villain in the entire series and you have 5 very strong guys in front of you and you can't capture Sabo, like that's I think kind of a negative on your power level a little bit, you know. Um, like I said, if we were to like switch it around, like let's just say if it was like all the admirals there and Akainu, I don't think Sabo would have got out. So the fact that Sabo got out, especially when your whole thing is secrecy, right? Like, and you still let him get away, I think that is kind of a negative on your power level, And that's like the only thing I can base it off is that feat. But I do agree he kind of has end game portrayal at the same time.
Yeah.
So I can get the number 1 spot just because he let Sabo get away. Because, like, just for example, with Akainu, with Luffy and Marineford, like Akainu almost got to Luffy, and look at all the stuff that got in the way in between them, While Emu can't get the Sabo, and there's literally nothing in the way, and he has 5 powerhouses with him, Um, so that's just kind of how I would rank that whole thing right there.
Okay.
Yeah, agree to disagree.
I just think those are valid points. Those are
No,
valid.
they are. They totally are. But I think it's a whole, we can't have Sabo dying yet, right? I get Emu, should probably be able to end Sabo there, but if Sabo does die there, right, then that would just not work for the story in the end of game. So, I mean, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I get it, plot and everything, like, but it still diminishes. Like we always have to take plot in consideration at the end of the day, But
Yeah.
like that still happened, And if that's your first portrayal of power, and you got away, and when you have 5 very powerful people with you on top of it, I think that's like a negative. That's
Yeah.
all.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah. So, all right, that's it for me.
Okay. Okay. So my number 6 is Mihawk. My number 5 is Blackbeard. and my number 4 is Akainu.
That's higher than I expected with you.
No, yeah, it was between Akainu and Blackbeard whether they be flipped or not. But I could see potentially Akainu beating Blackbeard,
Mm.
especially if he uses hockey. But yeah, Mihawk I put over Aokiji for the pettiest reason, just because he cut that whole tidal wave made of ice in Marineford.
Yeah.
So why couldn't
Yeah.
why couldn't he cut Aokiji and cut through like all the stuff that he throws up?
True.
Mhm.
So that's why I put Mihawk there, and then yeah, like we said, Blackbeard is really powerful. Different devil fruits, and yeah, if the whole like 3 skull thing on his flag theory is correct, he should be getting another power up by the end of the series. So he might move up even farther. But yeah, so yeah, I'm excited to see where it's gonna go. But that's it for me.
Okay. At number 3, yeah, definitely the highest out of everybody. We have Monkey D. Luffy. So I'm just gonna talk
Oh
about this.
my
I'm gonna talk
gosh.
about this real quick. Listen,
Okay.
guys.
Oh
So
my
listen.
gosh.
Let me speak. Okay.
Mhm.
Luffy is insanely powerful now. He has every single power up you can possibly have at this point in time. The only thing holding him back is for plot's sake. He literally doesn't. I don't know why. I'm not going to use Advanced Conqueror's Hockey when I fight Kizaru until my final attack where I go out. It's like, why do we have to make him do that? It's like his East Blue fights. How he does dumb stuff and falls underwater and against Arlong, even though it's like the easiest fight of his life. No, he grabs Kizaru in giant form and doesn't decide to use hockey. You could just, I don't know, coat your hand in Advanced Conquerors and squeeze him and punch him with your other hand and he's dead. Like, why are we not just doing these obvious like things that you have the power to do? Like, Advanced Conquerors has not shown to take like a massive toll on Luffy. The only thing that's been shown to take a massive toll is Gear Fit, which is also kind of the only thing holding him back now, and that is the fact that Gear Fit is not an unlimited ability, and it has a stamina meter. But again, that is the only thing holding him back right now, as far as I'm concerned. Literally, there were a million chances in that fight where if he just decided to turn on Conqueror's Hockey, Kizaru is finished. And the only reason it's not happening is, again, plot convenience and, yada, yada, yada. So that is why I put Luffy this high. I do think he is one of the strongest characters right now. I think every character under him has not been confirmed to have Advanced Conquerors, or if they have, they do not have any of the other strong powers that he has. So definitely, I believe he is this strong right now, only held back by Oda himself. Number 2, we've got Shanks.
Okay.
Obviously, one-shotting the entire Kid Pirates after using Future Sight is a pretty insane feat. I don't even know if Luffy could do that, unless he got time to like do a Bajrang gun, but obviously he wouldn't. And then at number 1, we have Emu. Just portrayal. You're literally the head of the world, so I mean, it only makes sense for you to be the final boss in the series. One Piece is very simple when it comes to things like that. Whoever is the head of the thing we're trying to take down is the strongest and is the person we're trying to take down. And as the head of the biggest organization that has caused the Straw Hats, trouble throughout the whole series, I think it only makes sense for Emu to be the strongest at this moment in time. And, everybody assumes that attack onto Lelouch was Uranus, but we never know. That could be one of Emu's powers, right? So that it has not been confirmed. It most likely is Uranus, but if it isn't, that is an Emu feat. So that is my top 3.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So let's try to get flamed. Okay. Aokuji. Okay, and then Akainu and Shanks.
Okay.
So basically, I view Akainu and Okashi basically close to the same in power.
Over Blackbeard over.
Yeah, I think Blackbeard's is inexperience and stupidity right now. Is part of the reason. Like, I think like maybe next arc he'd be over them. Okashi probably. Just you just I think Blackbeard's always going to be like a little bit stronger than Luffy. Until the end. And I don't see like Blackbeard as like Shanks's level, for example. I think he's kind of like in the lower tier of the Yonko right now. But still like room to grow and everything. Aokuji being trained by Garp, I think is very, again, like I think that adds like another layer to this power level, and we've seen him kind of portrayed as an equal to Akainu, and I hold Akainu to a higher regard, and so that's part of the reason why I have Aokuji like very high up too.
Mm-hmm.
And even with Garp, we didn't really see him go all out either. And I do agree with like Jimemperor. There's always like this idea of like, does he want to go super crazy because like it's one emotionally it's his mentor, right? And then also if he's like on the good side, he's just going to be fighting differently too, And also he basically one shot of the entire Black Pirates,
Yeah.
A Yonko crew,
Boa did the same thing.
Only a couple, and not all of them were there.
True.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, pretty powerful. Oh yeah, and we can assume he one shot a Cracker too, right? From the cover story thing, the German cover story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was definitely free.
That's probably one shot if we had to be real. Akainu, I've said it here before. Most destructive devil fruit in the series. Has been, obviously his feats in Marineford were insane. Oda's kind of said like if he was the main protagonist that he would get the One Piece and 1 year, right? So, he's fleet admiral, all this stuff, and I think Kizaru showed like a lot more feats of an admiral and how powerful they are, even against Gear Fifth Luffy. I think Akainu is stronger than Kizaru, and I think just he has the motivation and willpower too. That I think one of the stronger wills in the series too, because just like you've seen his portrayal in Marineford, how much he wanted to kill Luffy, basically, and just how he's expanded the Marines and made them stronger as fleet admiral too by moving the Marineford base and everything like that. So I think he has a lot of portrayal. I'm not sure if it's going to be him or Emu as the final, because I think there's just like a lot of weird stuff going on with the Marines, with how we saw Kizaru in the last chapter too. We're not sure what their allegiance is going to be. In terms of the talking point that Emu outranks Akainu, so therefore he must be stronger. Like, well, for example, that's not an absolute rule, because we had like Garp being a vice admiral, right?
Mm-hmm.
But clearly he was like the strongest Marine at that entire time, and so I would kind of apply that logic with the Gorosei too. Like, just because you're lower than rank in someone, that doesn't mean you're weak. Like look at Kobe. I think he could probably wipe out most or all of the vice admirals at this point, but he's still like a very low rank, So Emu could be strong, but not the final villain. If Dragon finally does something, it might be Sabo or Dragon that takes down Emu in the end. We're not entirely sure.
Who's Luffy fight?
Blackbeard and Akainu. I think those are going to kind of be the two.
But who's the final villain?
I kind of depends. I can see it being Blackbeard, or I can see it being Akainu.
Okay.
I kind of go back and forth. I just think there's a lot more character weight between Akainu and Blackbeard, with Luffy being the final villain, than Emu. To be perfectly frank, you can see narratively Emu's the antithesis, but like Blackbeard helped kill his brother and is kind of like like the Funko version, or like, you know, kind of the reverse mirror version of like Luffy, right? And then Akainu literally scarred him and killed his brother, you know. So that's just kind of how I see it. And he's like he believes in the exact opposite of what Luffy believes in too at the same time. So I think like the character stuff kind of outweighs the apparent narrative stuff we're seeing with Inu, you know, in terms of like how much more narratively satisfying it would be if Luffy fought Blackbeard or Akainu for the final villain, basically, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, at least. Yeah.
Okay. My turn?
Yep.
Okay. Number 3 is the Gorosei. Just as a collective, we don't know what the hell's going on with them. Where they're like paralyzing people and everything. They can heal, like Bonnie stabbed Saturn.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he just healed, so who knows what's going on with their powers. It's like they're not even like devil fruits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would be interesting. This is since we're talking about endings, if the Gorosei, like different leaders of each faction took on some of them. The Good Marines fight one, the Revolutionaries fight another, something like that. I think that would be interesting.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like a united effort against the government.
Mihawk fights Gandhi.
Yeah. Mihawk and Zoro team up.
Yeah. Oh, that's cringe.
My number 2 is Shanks. And my number 1 is Emu. So I heard your points about Emu, like being not being the final boss and everything, but if like this is just kind of how the whole Nika thing was introduced so late into the series. I feel like if it was kind of peppered throughout the series, I feel like we could kind of draw a more direct line to Emu being the final villain, because I think like how Blackbeard is kind of like the opposite of Luffy. I feel like Emu to an extent might be like the opposite of Nika. I feel like Blackbeard or Emu could be the final villain. Like Blackbeard could be the final villain for the race for the One Piece. And Emu be the final villain just as like the world government final villain.
That's what makes sense to me too.
Yeah, that's how.
No, I agree. I agree. That's there. I agree. Like that's a viable interpretation for like him as a like. I'm not saying there's no like. That's why I put Emu that high for sure. You know. But I like I said, he could be powerful, but like not at the highest tier level too. You know, tons of influence and everything like that too. You know, I just haven't seen enough with feats. You know, because I guess his introduction wasn't as impressive as other higher tiers introduction. Like, let's say Kaido just jumping down out of the sky. Like he has a powerful introduction in terms of narrative, but not in terms of power.
Well, I feel like Kaido and Emu are very different characters. Like Kaido's whole thing is about finding the strongest opponent to end his life and everything. Like he's looking for strong people, so he's portrayed as being that strong character. Whereas Emu's like in the shadows, controlling everything, and they're not gonna be out like bombastically doing stuff. Like with I think in terms of like displays of power, then like the destruction of Lulusia is enough to kind of be like, oh, he can like if it's up to his whim, he can just destroy an entire island.
Yeah, and I can see him as being powerful in like a political or like a scientific sense, you know, and still have some personal powers, you know. But like, I mean, like for example, like just because like Judge is like the leader of Germa, he's not stronger than his creations in a way, you know. and I think you could kind of view him similarly, potentially, right? Potentially in that sense as well. He could give the Gorosei all these powers. He could have all these people under him, but still not be personally broken. If that makes sense, So I kind of think like that's part of it. There's a dimension to that too, and everything. Well, but also think of like people like Whitebeard. Think of people like the admirals too. Their introductions, they were portrayed more as fighters who were powerful,
Mm-hmm.
But Emu was kind of portrayed more as a political force or someone with a lot of power possessively rather than personally. That was kind of more of the portrayal there. I like that's just for me. Because like I said, I think any other high tier Sabo ain't getting out of there. That's just kind of my point. I get, but that's like the only feat we can base him off of. And since like it's an end of the series villain, there can be multiple senses you're an end of the series villain,
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's from him is he possesses more power. But yeah, I'd say like that's kind of my final take on that point, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think I think Emu's the real deal in terms of power, both political and actual.
Has to be.
Yeah. And then Shanks is Shanks. There's not much more you can say about that.
Yeah.
We've talked
Yeah.
we've talked about him when talking about Kid too.
Yeah.
But
yeah, any addendums? I have one. I'm gonna flip Luffy and Dragon on my list.
Can I convince you?
Actually, can you flip mine too while you're at it? Yeah.
Luffy and Dragon.
Yeah.
Thanks. Jimper made a very compelling argument with Luffy.
Yeah, and I just hate dragons, so that's why I'm doing that. So.
Okay, Jimper, what did you want flipped?
I think I like my list right now, I'll be honest.
Okay. Also, I was the only one that didn't put Garp on there because he's not active in the story right now. We don't know his fate. If he was, he would be like number 6.
I mean, technically we don't know Kid's fate either, though.
Yeah, but I feel so Kid I feel is going to come back into the story. Like I think also Big Mom's going to come back into the story, but she's not on my list.
Jeez, I really hope not.
Yeah, no, please.
I feel
Big Mom Part 3 consecutive arcs. Yeah.
I feel narratively she would be like we need to wrap her up more, but
unfortunately it makes sense.
But
she's gonna eat Emu. Yeah.
But I feel like Garp is kind of in that same realm of like his fate is nebulous right now. We don't know if he was killed or frozen or what.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would be number 6 for me.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
One more thing, I'm gonna call out AFB here. You don't have Yamato on your list.
I forgot.
No, fair enough.
if you were to slot her in there somewhere.
But for the record, I'm trying to forget Wano out of my memory, so that's part of the reason why I forgot. I was kind of thinking about it as we were going through it. I put Yamato either right below Kid or right above Law. That's kind of where I'd put Yamato.
Okay. So like, okay, so in that range. And then,
yeah, around there, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm the only one with Garling on my list.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do these symbolic figures anymore, bro. I mean, like, frick. I mean,
put Kong on your
symbolic figure. What?
You put Kong on your list,
bro. You put Kong on your list. You did.
He looks drip, bro. Come on, let's be real.
That hair goes crazy.
But yeah. Anything else? Any final words?
That's it for me.
I think that's it. I mean, this year was a lot more difficult, in my humble opinion. Yeah, like I said, it was the bottom 10 with Lucci, Sabo, Zoro, Sanji. Like, all of them, it was just, like, really bashing my head. They kind of think it would be better, So, and Kobe, too. It just kind of makes it weird. Yeah, so, but yeah, no, I thought it was a great year of One Piece, for sure. Yeah, I'll just leave it on that. I think it was one of the best years of One Piece for the manga.
Yeah, definitely a lot of change-ups, I feel. Like, I have different... I was looking at last year's list, and my feelings on a lot of these people changed somewhat.
Yeah,
Mhm.
oh, for sure. All right, well, I guess I'll close it out then. Well, if you're still listening, please like and subscribe. If you're not, thank you for being here with us for another year of One Piece, and we will see you all next year. So have a good one and peace.
So yeah.